Alright, watch out, fellas. Alright, so I'm about to do this rotor. I just put these brakes on not even 3 weeks ago. These rotors didn't look like this. If you see, there's a big crack down that rotor. I just did the other rotor from the passenger side. Is the same thing. See the cracks in them? Here, here. I put these new brakes on, and I had my toy hauler behind me, and I popped the tire. So when I took it off and put this tire on, I noticed them. So I ordered my new rotors, and here we go. I'm gonna get started. It's gonna be a 2 or 3 part video because I had to use a small memory card, but got my Ford grease, gloves, center bolt removal so you can take the bearings out, to spread my caliper, pliers for pulling the carter pin, braking bar for removing the brake caliper master bolts because they are a pain in the ass back here. These guys are hard as shit to break loose, but as you'll see here, first we'll spread the caliper, trying not to damage the brake pad because, like I said, I just bought these. I don't want to have to replace brand new brakes again. It's a dumb thing to have to do, but once you get on this little grit lip and get them to spread, you want to get your, where you get up here if you can, and push it in. See how it's creating a gap? Then you get your screwdriver down in there like so, and you'll see that the caliper starts to compress. Open up that way. You can do this, and if you do it carefully with the flat side of there right on the brake pad and gently, you can open the caliper up without damaging anything. Now that the caliper is open, I can go ahead and break these back bolts loose. This whole piece, I'll sit down on the ground, then I'll get to this. I will get back to you guys in that next step. Once I pull this cap off, I'll show you removal of the carter pin and center bolt, and then we'll pull this off and we'll go through that. Alright, so here's the next step. We use the needle nose pliers here to take off this stupid carter pin, which I hate carter pins just in general. They're great things because they keep shit from falling apart, but, or you know, stuff from coming unbolted. This one's playing fuck games with me, which is kind of normal. This is why I don't like carter pins, because I have this trouble a lot with these stupid things. But once you take this dumb thing out, there we go. Sit this inside that little cup that came off so you don't get no dirt on it. See, being out here in the middle of the desert, you have to do that with everything. Now, use these channel locks. Make sure there's no dirt on them first, and grab that little bolt there. Light little turn, nothing major. Just loosen it up. And look at that front bearing. Check it out and make sure it's still good. I mean, I should replace it anyway if you had to replace the rotors, but it's my slow season right now. I paint houses. I got a little private painting business, so that's what happens. And this is what I need. A little rag. I always want to have one of these on hand. make sure I get all this old grease off the bearings. Now, pull this off. It has a dust plate on the back of it here. This, I gotta pop this piece off first, and then this inner dust cap ring, which, well, actually I can get it just at the dust cap ring, but it's got to be very careful, and that is why the chisel and the hammer here. So what we'll do is give a light little tap on each side with the sharp edge of the chisel to get it under. I know it's a little rocky, guys. I'm going to set you right on that rotor so you can get a close-up of you doing this. Now, I'm going to have to move you because I got to go around to the side you're sitting on. Because you do have to do this gently and slowly all the way around till this cap pops out. As soon as it pops out, you're able to get to the bearing right there. And then I will repack the bearings with grease and put it back on. I will get back to you at that next section. This time, this spot is a little tedious and I do not want to bend this thing. If I bend it, I gotta go buy another one, so I'll get back to you. So the bearings are in good condition. Here's that dust cap I had to pull off. I had to be gentle with it so I didn't bend it. Then you fill everything up for grease, put that back right on down in there, give it a, make sure your tool is clean, and then you just, all done. That one's in. Oh, now the front one will get greased and put back in as it goes on. I'll set you guys up, hopefully, to watch. Alright, looks like I got you set up for that. Just like so. Put that bad boy on there. Alright, so there's the new rotor. Here's the bearing. I'm going to give it a nice little dip in the grease to get a good coat on one side, flip it over, do the same to the other, wipe off some excess. When I'm greasing bearings, I like to make sure they're good and greased. Then we just slide that bad boy right on in there like so. Simple as a pimple happen. And then come up here, because we move things around so we don't get them dirty. We take this ring here, always make sure you got a washer next to the bearing. That way when you bolt your bolt up, it doesn't hit your bearing and freeze your bearing up. Spin, grab the pliers, go ahead and crank it down pretty tight, check it again, spinning freely and good. Alright, now come back to this little cap we took off, that stupid Carter pin. This is a lock clip, so you put this on your bolt, and then slide the carter pin back through the hole. Just let needle nose pliers do that with. Turn your carter pin once that goes up one way, once that goes up the other way. Like I said before, that I hate doing these stupid things, but they're worth having. Dust cap back on. Alright, now see, I use the 2 bolts to take the caliper off. I'll put those 2 bolts back in, put it back on, throw the tire back on it, and you'll be ready to go. It takes all of about 30 minutes to do if you do it this way. It's not hard. The tedious part is pulling this seal without damaging it. If you damage that seal, you're gonna have to go get another one, or you're gonna have to call and order it, which is a bitch because it took a week to get these in. All right, you guys have a good one. All right, so there, caliper's back on. It'll only take me a minute to put the tire back on now. Grease. Hey, I worked for AAA for a long time. I did a lot of tire changes. I pretty much got this part down to a science. And see, working out here in the desert like I am, I didn't put no mat under me or nothing. You know what I was? Extra careful to make sure I didn't drop anything in the sand. I put everything up on the window visor or in a can. Set it on top of the tire, but I'm always extra careful not to drop anything in the sand. Usually I use a piece of vinyl though that I carry in the back of my truck. But if you watch my YouTube channel, you'll know that a couple weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, I got stuck in a mud pit and had to use that piece of vinyl to get traction on. So I don't feel like laying on it. I haven't washed it off yet. It's just folded up in the back of my truck. Alright, I'm going to lock these bolts down, and that's it. That's a left front rotor on a Ford F150 Triton V8. And it's a 7-lug. It's considered the 7700 edition. You guys have a good one.